Hello everybody and welcome back to Bucha with Bre. I am so excited because you know what time it is. It is time for second fermentation, baby. It's about to be lit. This is like the best part of kombucha making. And if you agree with me, give this video a thumbs up because it really is. It's full of experimentation and creation, and it will really get you excited about making your own kombucha. So stay tuned in this video. I'm going to show you my process and how I bottle and flavor my homemade kombucha. So first things first, I like to take out that nicely brewed kombucha. If you watched my last video, you know that my personal sweet spot for the first fermentation is 10 days. That is just me and how I like my kombucha to taste. Everyone is different, and I think that's why I like kombucha making so much, is because it's really tailored to fit you personally. After 10 days, I go ahead and take, again, that lovely brewed bucha out. I like to examine it to see the change of the color, to look at the beautiful SCOBY. The SCOBY has doubled in size usually, and it's amazing. Best thing that you can do is just check to make sure that your SCOBY is not a crazy bright blue color or fuzzy. If it's bright colored or fuzzy, it's most likely mold, and in some way, shape, or form your SCOBY got contaminated. So you just want to take that whole batch and throw it out and start another one. It's okay, it happens. It's just the process of fermentation and dealing with living and breathing organisms. Once I've checked to make sure that my bucha is safe and it looks pretty and everything looks great, then I go ahead and do a taste test. Usually taste test my kombucha before I bottle it, just to see if I need to maybe ferment it longer. If I taste test it, it's a little bit too sweet, I'll put it back in the cupboard or the closet for a couple days to let it ferment a little bit more so that it's not so sweet. If you taste tested it and it's all good, then now it's time to bottle and flavor. Taste testing your kombucha after first fermentation is a-okay. You can actually drink your kombucha after first fermentation. If I don't want flavor, I just like to go through the second fermentation process because I find that it gives it that little extra oomph in taste. But you can do whatever you want. So let's talk about bottling. Glass only. Why? Because like I discussed in my previous videos, kombucha contains living organisms, and if you put living organisms in plastic, it's going to absorb chemicals and the contents of plastic rather than giving you the good things out of kombucha, like the good bacteria, if that makes sense. So make sure you're putting your kombucha, no matter what shape, form, make sure it's always in glass containers, not plastic. Plastic, no good. Plastic bad. Here's a little tip for you. So if you go to the store and you love kombucha and you're not making it yet, and you buy the kombucha, keep your bottle, because this could be the bottle that you brew your second fermentation in. During the summer, I was drinking a lot of kombucha, so I accumulated all of my favorite kombucha, which is Health-Ade. I'm in love with Health-Ade's kombucha, particularly the Pink Lady Apple and the pomegranate. So I was drinking that all summer, and I ended up accumulating a lot of their tiny bottles. I ended up also getting their larger gallon bottles, which has proven to be really helpful and kind of kick-starting me off into starting brewing kombucha. And this is what I used initially. As I got along and started brewing more and more kombucha, I realized that having pressurized bottles, the glass bottles, are a little bit more efficient because it helps it to be a little bit more carbonated. I went to Hobby Lobby and I found these bottles from Italy, and I bought a couple of them. They work really well. I also found Italian soda sold at Sprouts, and they're in cute bottles, and I was like, well, why don't we just drink this and then use these bottles afterwards? So Yannick and I bought the Italian soda, drank all the Italian soda, and kept the bottles. And these bottles are actually really nice because they have, like, it's a really tight lock system that has this bottle going on here, if that makes sense. It will keep a lot of the carbonation in this bottle. Flavoring is pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty easy. It's all up to you. It leaves so much room for experimentation and creation. So the formula that I've kind of come up with for flavoring my kombucha and for second fermentation is usually about 7 days. That's for main fruits, vegetables, spices, that kind of stuff. Now, if I'm using cold pressed juices or just regular juices, I usually will only ferment that for about 2 to 3 days because of how potent it gets. It gets really carbonated because of the added sugar in the cold pressed juices and stuff. Some of my favorite recipes I'll let you know about: raspberry kombucha, just straight raspberry with kombucha, fill it up to the top, booyah. Sometimes I like to just do some apple cider vinegar and put that with my kombucha. I do just a little bit of apple cider vinegar because this is really strong when it ferments. So I just do a little bit, but I really like the taste of apple cider vinegar. Sometimes I'll add in some green tea. Different teas are also good for second fermentation. Yannick likes to mix ginger, lemon, and honey. That is also super good. Look at the kombuchas that you like to buy out of the store. See what they're putting in their kombucha. You can create your own version of it. Another thing is using cold pressed juices. That can really add lots of flavor, and I find that a lot of the kombuchas in stores use cold pressed juices anyway in their kombucha, so it's great to just experiment with the different cold pressed juices in your area. Once I have the flavoring part done, which all of my bottles contain some kind of fruit, cold pressed juices, all that I need in each different bottle, I'll go ahead and take the first fermented kombucha and start pouring it into each bottle. Now I use a strainer because there are little kind of floaties of SCOBY, new growth, inside the kombucha once it's fermented, and I don't really like to have the sliminess in my mouth when I'm drinking the kombucha. I just try to avoid that, so I strain it out. But once all the bottles are filled up to the top, go ahead and close them all up, and I go ahead and put them away in my pantry, which is also a dark and quiet place for me. Not as quiet as my coat closet, but it's still kind of quiet, and it's only going to be there for 7 days at the most. That's all I have for this episode of Bucha with Bre, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that it was helpful for you. I've gotten a lot of feedback for this little series that I'm doing here on YouTube, and I am having so much fun, and I'm so happy that you guys have benefited from it, and it's encouraged you to go out and brew your own kombucha. If you have ideas about brewing kombucha, second fermentation, if you have different flavors that you've tried that you think are amazing, please comment them down below, and stay tuned for my next video. I'm not going to give away what it's going to be, but it's going to be awesome, I can tell you that. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again. Bye!